What's up, everybody? Isaac here, Civil Engineering Academy again. Thanks for checking out our podcast. Welcome back to our podcast. Appreciate you being here. If you need help on your FE or PE exam, definitely check us out at civilengineeringacademy.com. We got all the good stuff for you sitting right there. So today we have an incredible guest. I actually bring on a conversation that I have with a fantastic CEA student. His name is Scott Williams, and Scott's journey is truly one for the books and about not giving up as he attempts to take the civil FE exam in his prep. He's a previous student of ours, and he details all that. He does a deep dive into his background, sharing his own experiences that he's gone through in environmental engineering and the challenges that he actually faced, particularly not having, a structural engineering background, dealing with some civil topics that could be an issue when he's taking the CBT exam. And so he details all of that. He's going to share with you what really made the difference, specifically by finding our courses, the flexibility that they provided, and our CBT exam simulator to make sure they could get he could get a lot of practice in and get something that's more lifelike to the true exam. So there's just a ton of work that goes into passing your FE exam. Now he's on his journey to get his PE exam. It's been an exciting journey for him, but again, past student of ours and sharing his experience. He's going to share a ton of great study tips and discusses his new goal again in preparing for his PE exam, getting ready for that soon. So many of you out there in the same boat. Maybe you're wondering if you can pass the FE exam, whether you've got enough experience or you went to the right school, or maybe you don't know all the topics and maybe you're a repeat taker. So all of those things come into play and we start questioning ourselves whether we can do this. So Scott's a great example of overcoming some of those hurdles, getting his FE done and working towards getting his PE. So I will shut up without further ado. Let me get to my interview with Scott. You're going to enjoy this one, especially if you need tips passing your FE, and we will see you inside. All right, Scott, we're rocking and rolling. Thanks again. I'm sorry I'm mobile today, but you do what you got to do. But thanks for joining me on the Civil Engineering Academy podcast. Appreciate you doing this with me.
No problem. I'm on the road a lot too, so I have to do a lot of Zoom meetings and similar. On Monday morning, I'm driving down to LA, and I have to plan a spot to pull over and do this exactly for a compliance meeting.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I kind of sneak these podcasts in when I could do them, if it's lunch or, I got to work around my wife's schedule too. And that could be a mess sometimes, but four kids, life gets busy.
Oh, wow.
But,
yeah.
Hey, I always love to start these off though, about you kind of touching upon your own background, like what led you to pursue, your desire to head down this route of earning your FE and earning your PE eventually. But what got you going in this direction?
And, even in high school, I was always in the classes, like the, I forget what they called it, but there was like a level above the math classes and science classes that my parents always pushed me to get into. So going towards science and math was always pretty strong. I didn't really know what I was going to do. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in high school. So I wound up joining the Navy. It just seemed like a good opportunity to kind of give myself a break and pay for college and kind of figure out where I wanted to go. But what I wound up doing was, doing a cryptologic technician collection, which is intelligence. And there, a lot of it was just dealing with rules and regulations as well, and making sure you were staying in compliance. So that also kind of added in as well. After college, I still just didn't really know what to do. So I went to a junior college and took like the general classes, and then still realized that I wound up wanting to go towards like the science. At close to me, Merced Junior College actually had a great physics professor who was the first person to really introduce me to like what engineering could be. And there I also found like the professor and the students that were in that class were just great people and still friends that I have today. And it really got me thinking more towards like environmental engineering as an option. Mechanical wasn't really something I was too interested in. I didn't really know anything about civil. But environmental seemed like a step up from what I was originally pursuing. So I wound up transferring to UC Merced as an environmental engineer. And that's kind of where I started going.
Oh, that's an interesting journey. So I'm just curious about your time, you said in the Navy, right?
Yes. I had
Um,
about 4 years and 8 months.
was there anything from your experience there that that translated into school or like the civil engineering world? What was the anything that could
Yeah, well,
you pulled from that
it,
experience?
even on deployment, the guys I was working alongside pushed me to improve myself. So I even took classes during the Navy. But I would say one of the things I really appreciated about them is they're always pushing you for the next step just because there's so many people that they lose every year as well. So one of the key things they kind of taught me just as a role at every job kind of is just you learn the role of the job above you, you teach your job to the guy below you. That way, if something happens, there's always someone there to cover for that. And that's what I've always done at every job is try to learn what I can from that opportunity. Uh,
That's
I'd
smart.
say that's
That's
probably
good
the
advice.
yeah.
Well, I think what's exciting is at this stage of your career, you've passed your FE exam, and that fits into your overall goals. And you've been working in government sector, you've been working in private sector, but where does why is earning your FE certification? Why was that important at this particular stage in your life?
Well, unfortunately, that's I believe that was the first semester of the second year at UC Merced. I took they had a combined statics and dynamics class, and it was at night, and I had a pretty heavy workload already, and I just didn't do well in that class. That's the one I didn't put enough work into it. I'll admit that. I really needed to focus. I was also working on the side, and I probably should have not been in for that semester and just focused on that, but it did actually cause me to make a big decision as far as I saw they had another, besides the environmental engineer program they had at UC Merced, which was a pretty small UC still at that time. They had a Earth System Science program, and it allowed me to actually take as a lower level student, take a lot of classes like hydrology and subsurface hydrology with graduate students and help them out with their projects. I liked that a lot. It really allowed me to take the classes that I was really into. So I made at the time, now I believe is a bad decision to stop going for the engineering, and I went towards the Earth System Science, which I was just really enjoying. My senior year, I got an opportunity to be an intern with Gallo, the winery that a lot of people probably recognize, and it was part of their sustainability engineering program. At the interview, they even I'm still friends with these engineers today, but they were very honest with me in the beginning and kind of let me know that I did make a bad decision as far as the route that I chose. That they loved my experience. They wanted to bring me on board. They did wind up bringing me on board, but it did cost me. They let me know that at the end of the program, I wouldn't be eligible for any full time positions, and I would have to accept a lower pay rate than the engineering interns that I'd be working alongside. But I saw it as a great opportunity, and it was a great opportunity. Uh, and that is where I first got the first like I need to start thinking long term.
We need to do more.
Yeah, yeah. I wish that I would have probably done it earlier, but just wound up
Okay.
that no, it's the best time.
So, I mean that's great advice. A lot of people don't know, like you've chosen a field to study, and then all of a sudden you get into an area that's really applicable to what you like, and then you find out that, oh man, I should have finished the civil route or gone heavy into civil engineering to get your credentialed, get credentialed that way. But so let's, I guess, fast forward. So you're going through that experience, and now you're doing homework to see what you need to do to get there. And that's why you took is that why you took the FE, started taking that, preparing for it?
Well,
Or
I've taken just about I have every certification I can pretty much get at this point. I have even a certified air permitting professional certification, so I can just to show that I can do air permitting. I have my QUISP for stormwater. I have a green belt. I had a black belt in Six Sigma because I was doing qualifying sometime. But it was just like, where do I go next without? how much money to go to a graduate program that I still don't know if that would have paid off. I think that getting my FE will long term pay off better for me than if I had gone for a master's or even a PhD. So
It is true, and I tell this to people when people question whether they should get a master's or not, and the value of getting, FE and then PE done is going to be looked at way higher than your master's degree. But what I'm finding though is that most employers will pay for your master's if you want continued education, and so you might as well earn your PE and then let your employer pay for any additional schooling if you want it. But that's interesting. So let's go back.
Oh, I got a good opportunity to work under a GIS professional that was working with the state of California, and that turned out just being an awesome opportunity. But yeah, they were definitely paying for his program, and they've treated him very well, and he's been doing great. I still follow him on LinkedIn. We're still friends.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's a tip I guess for anybody that's listening that's debating that, but definitely get the FE, get the PE rolling and get that done. But so let's go to your FE experience. How many, I mean, you got it done. But I'm curious what your experience was like taking the FE. How many attempts? What was it like for you? What was your general, preparation like?
I I owe the credit to the professional engineer that I currently work under for really like telling me to go for it. Um, uh, when I first got this opportunity, it was just going to be me learning to be a mining and permitting manager. But then they brought in a professional engineer, and I had the opportunity to go back to a previous opportunity. But then I saw this as like I can learn a new skill, and then I have a mentor even now to learn as much as I can underneath. So I stayed there. Sorry, can you repeat your question one more time? I lost track.
I'm just curious, like, what was your exam prep like? You took the exam a couple times. Like, what did you learn from taking it a couple times? What advice would you have for someone preparing for this thing?
I started originally just, I think is it the Lindbergh book? I was just using that myself.
Yep.
I thought that just myself, I could relearn statics and dynamics and just power through everything else. Most of the environmental, the hydrology stuff, I was pretty familiar with, but it was mainly the statics dynamics that first time that I really should have had dialed down more. And I was still very weak in the mechanics and structural, but I was only using those books, a couple of like I watched videos on YouTube, but I was trying to power through myself. And the first time I had even watched a video where this happened to someone else and they brought this up, but I forgot my calculator. The one that I had practiced with, the one that I was familiar with that first time. I just didn't prepare the night before and forgot it all. A really nice lady had a spare Casio, which I wasn't familiar with, but I made it work. I did better than I thought I was going to do, but I didn't pass. It was just a good learning lesson, I guess, because now I have 4 of these calculators that I have just about everywhere. I recommend for anyone going for their test, just pack your car the night before. So you're already good to go, because it was very stressful trying to originally just figure out what I was going to do there. The second time I had gotten statics and dynamics down better, but not good enough. And I started getting the mechanics and the structural, but still, I believe when I signed up for your program, I had you take a look at scheduled a meeting like this with you, and you looked over my results, and that actually helped me a lot because you estimated that I was about only my second time, and I put a lot of effort into studying, but you estimated I was, I think, 5 questions from potentially passing. So that really helped me. I guess that really helped me realize that I really needed to just put as much time into it and power through it.
That's awesome. So, I think it's fantastic. Anybody that can repeat the exam and learn from past experiences, I think is a great example to many people, especially with your background and where you're coming from. I think this is awesome. So I'm curious, there's a lot of options to take FE material, FE courses, but I'm curious,
how did you discover Civil Engineering Academy, and how did we help you prepare for this one?
Um, I mean, most things I've found in life, you just try to find the best value. If you can buy the best, I don't know, whiskey or something for $2,000, but then find out you like it as much as a $40. That's just an example. Looking at everything, it seemed like a lot the more expensive programs. People were saying that the questions that they were providing and the material they're providing was more than they needed, and the questions were harder than they needed. So to me, it seemed, particularly the most expensive ones. That's where I think the name slipped, but that's what I found. And then I started looking into your program. The Reddit community mentioned that, and then all of your podcasts, just like this. It's great to hear other people's experiences and just kind of see and get a feel for you as well. I mean, as the company leader,
Right.
how involved you are.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I feel like Civil Engineering Academy, I'm probably one of the few that puts myself out there so much, but yeah, we're it's kind of the face of the company. We try to make sure, to let people know we want to help them on their journey to pass this, whether it's your first or fifth time taking an exam. Um, we have, I even have my brother help, and he's a civil engineer. So we're kind of in the trenches with you. We've been here, we've done that, and we're excited to help people. So I'm thankful that you found us. I don't know if it was a YouTube video or just Google. It sounds like Reddit. That's always good. People complain on Reddit.
No,
So,
actually, I would say that this community has been amazing. Not just everywhere, and how positive everybody is, and promoting people to keep pushing and going further, and selling their materials on Reddit for a much cheaper price than you see on eBay. Uh, I mean, really what made me want to do this too. Is just I found even now going for a PE, the same thing. It's other people are
yeah,
helping me stay motivated.
that's awesome. I think people feel like they want to pass it on. And so if there's someone else they can help, maybe get their material for a little bit cheaper, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
One of the big things about like FE prep is taking, and a lot of people miss this, but taking practice exams. And I know in our course, we provide a CBT simulator. So what advice would you give to people preparing for the FE that maybe don't take practice exams, and how did that exam help you?
I should have mentioned that on your earlier question, because that is actually one of the biggest things that got me interested, because computer-based exams are not my go-to. I found this the hard way when I got out and was at the first junior college, and they had a math class. You could kind of do remote and then just come in and do CBT tests. And it was difficult. I didn't like the format. I don't know why it just didn't vibe with me that well as being able to do like the old school exam. I really wish the PE was the way it was before. But we have to deal with what we have to deal with. So I realized that I don't know if I saw a similar CBT exam offered by anyone else. I know they offered exams, but it was just like the other two exams I believe you also offered in your program that I used mainly for my main study and to figure out my weak areas. And then I would use your CBT. I used it right before, probably within a month and a half before was when I started using that to get myself really dialed into the format. And I would do it on Saturdays and Sundays, where luckily I had a new testing center also close by me where I could plan it almost exactly like I was eating breakfast at the same time I'd be eating breakfast. I planned everything out so that it would be exactly like when I was taking the exam. And honestly, I didn't, I felt confident when I was leaving, but that I had passed, but I felt comfortable when I was there both sessions. This longer one for the PE has me a little bit worried. Like how do I organize that time? But just being able to know that I'd be able to focus for 2 hours and not have to go use the restroom or something and really dial in on those, use all that time to my benefit. I think that really helped me.
Yeah. I really feel that taking practice and exams is the key to passing these big, exams, is putting the pressure on well before the real exam. And in our course, I know we give you 2 PDF downloadable practice exams. We also give you that CBT exam simulator. Was there any surprises that came at you on the exam after you've prepared this much, going through all this?
No, I'd say no. My weak areas came up on the exam, like matrices. For some reason, a question came up that just got me. Actually, something that I'm going to prepare on now for the PE. But I'm lucky enough that I have a friend who does it's like Math Olympics or something at our local high school, and he promises that he's going to be able to get me dialed in on some of the lower math stuff that I just hadn't learned. I never needed to use it, so I just didn't have it dialed in. But I would I knew my weak areas. I didn't address them. They did come up in the exam, but I had fixed enough of my weak areas. I think I made it through with no problem. I think it's a kind of unfortunate you don't get to see your results at the end. I guess I do understand why they do it, but it just would have been interesting to see how well I did do. But I'm okay with how it is.
Yeah, a lot of people are frustrated with how they grade these exams. It's really hard to tell what you actually got from them. But yeah, and when you pass, it's just a green pass. So, which kind of leads me to another question. Like, what was that day like when you found out your results?
I got the message. It was early. I mean, I get up pretty early, but I got it probably before 7, and I didn't want to look at it, but I had to look at it. You know what I mean? I kind of almost wanted to wait till after work was over.
Yeah.
But I knew I'd worked too hard to just push it off, and it's just good not to push anything off. You need to address. So I opened it up. I passed. I let my friends know, just because all my friends, almost everybody I hang out with, works and then either has another job or a hobby or something that they're very into. I appreciated them being there, because when I was like, hey, I can't hang out and do this activity, they were always very understanding. So that's one thing I would also recommend just to people in general is keep people around you that are pushing forward and are positive and moving forward, because they're always going to support you in what you're going in life and be there for you.
That's great advice. There are times where you need accountability too, and it's nice to be able to tell people that aren't too judgmental. They understand that you need to get this done, but they aren't gonna beat you up over it. Sometimes that happens in the workplace where we want accountability from maybe a boss, but then maybe we're repeating the exam so much we don't even want to tell anybody about it anymore. I've seen that happen too, but it is very helpful to have support and get a support system behind you. So that's great advice. Do you have any other tips or advice that you would share with somebody that just said, "Hey, I'm about to take my FE. What do you got for me? What should I do?"
For studying, again, like keeping the positive people around you is going to help. You don't want people trying to sidetrack you, or we need to go out and drink on Friday nights, but you need to study on that Saturday. Push it off. Don't go out. I would almost recommend sticking to your normal schedule, just so every day is the same. I kind of put myself back into, I called it deployment mode, where just every day is the same, and just power through it and get it done. I would say something else that I also dialed in on, is just try to be as healthy as you can be. I started cooking my lunches and taking them in so I could study more. But then I realized that was also helped me feel better than when I bought food. Even that, say, at one of the sandwich shops, it's still probably more processed food than you're cooking at home. And I think also eating similar food every day also just kept my body powering through. I didn't get sick. It helped me sleep better by working out and just being healthy. I think that helped a lot. And then and this is something that I do at work too, and it is just plan out your week. And if something isn't on that list, it's probably not a priority. So if something pops up, you really need to think that through. And if you can fit it in, fit it in. But if it's not that important, you need to be accountable and not do it.
It's awesome.
Probably
Great tips.
those 3 tips, I guess I would say.
I love it. So let's fast forward. You are preparing for your PE exam now.
Yes.
So what takeaways did you like bring from studying for your SE that you are seeing that you're applying to the PE? I'm assuming it's like you're keeping the same study schedule, the same habits, but is there anything else outside of that?
Not yet. I think right now I'm still keeping the same. Well, I dialed it back a little bit right now until I do plan on using your program. I'm probably going to try to join it, the year program. I'm going to sign up for it 6 months out from when I'm signed up in July. So probably sometime in December or January, I'm going to join. And then that's when I'll also I'm full schedule. But right now what I'm doing is an hour I go into work early. I start reading the SERM. And then at my lunchtime, I try to finish a chapter every single day and not burn through it too quick because I am trying to learn the theoretical more. But probably just 2 hours every day, and I'm going to try to read all the areas in the handbook that I can.
Oh boy.
Do that twice. I'm going to try to get through that twice by reading it. The next time I'm going to try to take notes when I'm going through a little bit. And then I'm going to go straight into my normal schedule where I was doing an hour. I would pick a section of your material where I would study that material for an hour and do problems in the morning when my brain was fresh. That's the most valuable, I would think, is just put yourself as a priority and that way you're not burnt out after work. Get it done before work, especially the questions. And then at lunchtime where I had issues with, I would either look over those problems or I would look at videos and just try to figure out where I would improve at. And then to keep myself updated, when I go into full mode, what I'll do is when I get home, I'll pick a section that I was working on the week before or the 2 weeks before and go over the weak areas. That way nothing's getting too foggy. You're kind of just keeping up with everything. But 3 hours a day during the week. And then when I do try to throw in as much as I can, practice exams, and I'll try to usually just split them up. Like for the FE, I was doing the first half in the morning, 2 hours. And then I would try to review it a little bit in the afternoon where I did wrong and where I needed to improve on. And then in the Sunday, I would do the same thing.
Well, that's great. Kind of just outlined your the whole study plan right there. So if anybody's curious how to make it work, Scott just nailed it. So another question kind of popped in my head as we were talking, but now that you've earned your FE, has that helped you in your career, or is it like, I need to get the PE next, or what's happening there?
I'm not quite sure yet. Like what I mentioned when I first came on board, there was no one above me. I was going to be under an environmental manager, but really doing most of the permitting myself, what I understood, with the help of a consultant that we still used. However, about 2 years in, we lost that environmental manager. So there was a reorganization. And I was offered that position. I was offered to apply for that role of being the environmental manager, but it was kind of exactly what I had already been doing at previous jobs. And I still wanted to learn. I really wanted to dial in permitting and learn a new skill. So I turned that down at that time. They brought in an engineer with his master's degree from Texas to do the environmental program. And then just because of the amount of facilities and everything, they brought in another person to work under him. And they've been doing a great job on doing that. But then there was just another reorganization recently. And this is where it gets kind of interesting because they knew I was going for my FE. And they had a general idea that I was already going for my PE because I know a couple of folks that have just recently taken it. And they told me that I was basically crazy if I didn't just roll over to the next exam. Just go for it. The information's there. Keep pushing. And so I think it seems like the original PE that I'm working under is starting to think about retirement and how to prepare the department for that. So very recently, he brought up that environmental manager up to assistant compliance manager. And then the employee under him was brought up to the environmental manager, and I was given the opportunity to do farming leases or land leases. And I'm not quite sure how that fits into my long-term plan. I did bring this up. Everything I'm talking about right now, I should have brought this up earlier. For a warning, everything that I'm talking about right now, I've brought this up to the engineer I work under just out of respect. He's been a great mentor to me. The company's been great, but it's interesting now. I have to kind of figure out what am I going to do, because it doesn't seem like there's any opportunity for me to really lead my own program here. So I'm going to, my current situation is that I'm just going to keep pushing forward and go for my PE and just figure it all out. You guys everyone listening now is on my journey with me. If you want, I even recommend, if you have hearing this story, if you are all either where I'm at, getting your FE, you have it, or you are going where I'm trying to get, you have your PE. Feel free to look me up on my LinkedIn, Scott Williams. And right now I'm at Reed Family Companies, just so you can know for sure it's me. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or concerns that you think that you want to reach out to me and let me know, or what you think I should do next, I'm very open to that. Or if you have any questions about what I've talked about earlier, also just feel free to reach out to me. Networking is also, that's probably something I should have brought up, and something also that the Navy taught me was very important, is networking, because on a ship, who really helps you out. And it seemed to be the same thing when I was when I was an air district inspector, just treating people respectfully. Say if I was going to give a facility a violation and they had a good argument, I would work with them, try to bring them in, get everyone on the same page. And it's really helped me have like a reputation in this general area that I work in as well. I mean, a lot of powerful business people have met me, and I really recommend just network with everybody, be honest with people, do the best job that you can, and just always help people without expecting anything too. I think is the most important thing. Just help people and be a good person.
Awesome. Great tips, Scott, and great advice. So you already left your contact info. If anybody has questions to get a hold of Scott, we'll definitely link that in our show notes so people can reach out to you if they have any questions. But Scott, this has been very informative. If you were to make a recommendation for anyone out there to join Civil Engineering Academy, what would you advise them?
I mean, of course. I mean, I've already said that I'm definitely doing the PE. I would even also recommend just doing the extra expense and setting up a meeting with Isaac to explain your situation, and have your results. If you've taken the exam, have them there so that he can take a look at them and really analyze your weak areas, because he's going to have more experience than anyone else to tell you that. And it'll really help you get started in the right direction. At least that's what I felt. And I expect, there's no reason for me to not expect that from the PE program. So I think it would almost be crazy for me, after doing so well on the FE, to go to another company when you know what I mean? Even
you found success.
Yeah, with the contractors that I work with at my work, when you find someone, and employees, when you find someone who can do a good job and do a good role, stick with them, because they will also do good by you.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. Thanks for the pitch. We coach people. So if you want advice or help or just motivation, some people get down in the dumps about repeating these things. We'll definitely help you get out of there and move forward and cross the finish line. So thanks for all that, Scott. Appreciate you jumping on the show.
Can I say one last thing on that? Just don't let, if anyone around you is getting down, like especially like coworkers, don't let it get to you. They're I hate to say it, but they're probably hating on you a little bit there. Keep pushing. Showing your employers that you're not going to quit is, I mean, and not quitting is gonna always pay off for you. So that's just, I'd like to leave that at least. Understand. Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Don't quit. You'll get there. Jump through the hoops. And thanks for the good advice, Scott. Thanks for joining today. Appreciate you jumping on and sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
That's good.